Okay, this video describes our new rental manager, which is an add-on to our sales manager product. So first of all, you need to go into your inventory and to your rental warehouse. In BusinessVision, create a warehouse called rental or rent, whichever or what you want to call it. It's just easier to maintain your rental items for pulling pricing in a different warehouse. So in here, you want to create a template. So I called it rent template. You can call it whatever you want. I've set up some parameters for how we want our rentals to be charged and displayed. So we've got a yellow background with a red writing on it, just set here. We've set it as non-physical because this is not a depleting stock. This is just for pulling prices for the rental item. We put it into a product code called rental and a sales department 200 in my case, but whatever sales department you want that puts the income for the rental to wherever you want it for this. And you could have a few different ones set up that you choose from for different sales departments if you want the rent to go to different places. I've also set the units and prices, or just the units in this case. So I've set up a daily, a weekly, and a monthly rent for each one of them, just with a one-to-one factor because they're just used for choosing different pricing. The monthly I've set as my default units of measure because that's the one in my case I use most often. Okay, we save that. Then we go into our company setup and we go to rentals and we choose either a billing prefix or a billing suffix for the item we want to rent. So if we rent an FX280, in my case it will become an FX280-R, or you could have it as an R-FX280. I've told it that my rental billing warehouse is called rent, and that the template that I created is called rent template. So I save that. Now I go into my inventory for the regular items. So these are where I want the items to be committed from. So what we do then is we pick the item that we want to rent, open it up, go to the rental tab. In this case, it's not been set up yet, so there's no rental part number here. So I got an automatic button that creates the item in the rental warehouse. So I choose create billing item. It now picks all the settings for this item from that template we created. In this case, it creates an ST-40-R with the color set, non-physical, rent, and in the sales department 200, and the colors I've set for it. And then we save that. Now we see here we're presented with this screen here where it's all filled out, and down here we can set our pricing for it. So our daily pricing is say $5, our monthly is say $75, and our weekly is $25. Then we just save that. Now we come into sales, and then when we create a new rental order. So we can either create a rental order by choosing this little arrow beside new order and choose rental. And in this case, I've got my rentals starting with an E, but in company setup, you can decide what letter is the start of your rental orders. I've already got RMA set up with an R, which is the reason why we just chose the second letter there, but you can switch that around if you want. Okay, so we choose the customer we're going to rent to. Then we choose the repeat cycle, so monthly, and we're going to send it out today. And then down here, we decide what we're going to rent them. So an ST25. Okay, so I chose the wrong item, so it says rental part number not configured, so I can't choose that one. So an ST universal, ST40. And then it comes up and it shows my monthly billing, so $75. I can also choose weekly, which is $25, and I can also go to daily, which is $5 in this case. So then what happens here is that this is where it's all the pricing's figured out, and we've got the rental time, we've got the return, we've got the expected time to come back. And then we can also go to the items tabs, and you'll see that what's actually being billed to the customer is an STS40-R, and the pricing sets up here. We can also now add some sales items to this. So for instance, if you want to say add some wire to their order here, I can choose some 14 gauge wire, and we'll sell them 3 of them. and then we just simply invoice it. And I won't print that. Then we go back to that rental order. You notice that, first of all, that the date has been moved advanced ahead to the next date in the cycle, so from April 23rd to May the 23rd, because we're set to monthly. And also notice that the items that were on here for sale are no longer on this order. It's treated different than a regular standing order, where the only items that get left behind are the rental items and not any of the sales items. Okay, so let's just save that and close it again. Okay, let's look what happens if we rent a serialized item. So do a rental order, pick the customer, put an FX 280 on in this case. Brings up a list of serial numbers that we can select from. Click OK. And then we'll add in a non-serialized on here as well. And we're going to put 3 of these on the order. Set to monthly, today's date. Okay. And then we'll just save this. And if I go into inventory, and I go into the FX 280, and if I go into the serial numbers tab, and I sort this backwards here, these are all the ones that are out on rent. So we get committed. So the actual serial number gets committed as well as the item getting committed in inventory. Okay, then we're going to go back into the order. And there's a couple other features we've got on the order here too. So let's say, for instance, you want to return an item. There could be different reasons why you return it. One could be just they obviously return the item, or they may have lost it, or they wish to purchase it. So I can return partial, which will then allow us to return just one of these items or off this order, or they can do return and sell. So if we choose return and sell, say one of them they want to purchase, say yes, it's going to move it from the rental item to the sales item. We click OK, and notice our price changed to $6.55 down here. And we go over to the items here, and it's added the item to the sale with its regular sell price for the item. So they still got these rental here, and they've got this one that they return and put onto the rental side. Or you can choose to split the item. If I click OK and say one of them, I can put a memo on a return or a sale if they've lost it, typed in lost by Bob or whatever. And now I can just click OK here. And what it does, it splits it into 2. Then if one of them is still being billed for the month, but the other one is being billed weekly because they brought it back early, then I can choose the weekly here and then invoice that out to the customer as well. All right, so I'm just going to save and close this and show you some of the areas where you can look at the information on the items. Okay, so now we've got some areas where you can look at how what the rentals are doing. So if I go to an item, say for instance the FX 280, and I go into the item, and I go to the rental tab of the item, you'll see that we've got our units set here, but we've also got all of these. These are all rentals that are all out at this point. And if I double click on any one of them, it'll bring up the actual rental of the item. So I've got a bunch of stuff on here, including the one FX 280 here, and any one of the other ones. We do show that there's 11 of them committed as well on a rental. We got a total of 22 items committed. Some of them are committed to sales, but this 22 here is a total of sales and rentals together, and this shows us just the rental items. And then we also can have an expected due date on this right here as well. So that way, if they are short of these items and they want to come into here, they can see when some are being returned and when they expect them back. And that's the rental system. Thank you.